Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. We've got Allison back in the studio.
Yay, back from
looking
vacation.
all nice and sun-kissed, ready to go.
You know.
Had a good time?
Yeah, great time.
Oh,
great
good.
time.
Well, we are happy to have all of you back with us today as well. Hey, guys, today is the day right here. We're so excited to be able to talk about the book that we have been getting excited about for a long time.
For a
months.
number of different reasons.
For months, for so many reasons. And so we hope that you'll join us today for a great discussion about this book. Even if you haven't read it, it's okay because we want you here anyway. This is the place where theme number 1 is something to smile about, theme number 2 is something to learn, and theme number 3 is something to discover. Let's go. Hi friends, welcome to Three Themes Live. I'm Kris here at my girlfriend's quilt shop, and I'm so happy to be with all of you today. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful summer day. All right, friends, let's find out. Let us know in the comments how many of you have been reading along with us the book West with Giraffes by Lynda Rutledge. This has been such an inspiring book to me. I'm so thrilled to be able to have a discussion with my friends today about it, and we hope you'll join along. Now, I'll let you know right now, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the book, and we're talking about the book. Am I right, guys?
Yeah,
I've got Jacki and Kyle and Allison with me today, and we are definitely talking about this in all aspects. So if you have not read the book and you hate spoilers, you might want to join back with us tomorrow
After you've read the book.
After you've read the book.
Read all night long.
Yeah.
But we hope you will, I don't know about you, but I don't mind spoilers myself.
No, it makes
anticipation.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you want to say,
It
okay.
makes me relax a little bit more.
So you're not
I'm reading.
yeah.
Sometimes do you go online and read the synopsis really fast because you're like, oh, I cannot stand it.
Yes,
Oh,
I do.
yes,
I do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are going to be talking about it. We want to hear your thoughts about this. Join us in this discussion because it's not just about the four of us today, folks. We want to hear what your thoughts were regarding this book. What are the lessons we've learned? What are the takeaways? And then we can't wait. Stick around for theme number 3 because we have a sneak peek as to what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day for all of us here at Girlfriends.
We're so excited.
Yes.
We've worked really hard for tomorrow.
Yes.
So we hope you'll join us for that.
Yeah.
Vicki says she's read the book and she's been eager to watch today. Janet's been watching.
Good.
Let's see. Someone else said that they loved it. It's so fun to be able to get your feedback. And those of you on YouTube, you've been saying you love it as well.
I know, so good.
And I will tell you this, that at the beginning, I will admit, I had a little bit of a hard time getting into it.
Yes.
I don't know. Was that for
Yes.
anyone else?
Yes.
And
for
I
me.
thought, I don't know. Am I going to like this? Give it its
keep
due
going.
process
Keep
because it really is an excellent read.
I didn't have a hard time, and I actually bought the Audible version and listened to it on a plane ride and couldn't stand it, so then I had to come home and buy the book version so
Really?
that I could just dig really deep.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a hard time at all. But it is
Interesting.
completely out of my genre.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised that it was the one that came up and that I clicked on. So I did not have a hard time with this one at all.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, how was your experience? Did you have a difficult time getting into it? Were you immediately drawn in from the beginning? Be interesting to find out. Let's see. Kay says that the book was great, but I was beginning to wonder if the giraffes was ever going to get to California. Right?
Right.
Good point.
It
Good
is so,
point, Kay.
yes, it's true. I thought of that
So
exact
many
same
adventures along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're not sure what exactly we're talking about, let's have a little,
Brief synopsis.
Brief synopsis from Allison. So let's go ahead, and I think we have some photographs.
We do have some photographs because one
this
of the
is based
fun
off
things
of a true story.
it's based off of a true story. So the start of the book, I mean, it's told from a 105-year-old man who is in a nursing home
right.
and who's having a discussion with a giraffe that he sees through his window.
Yes.
So you kind of have to just put yourself. I mean, it's kind of an end of life story, and he's looking back at this time. But his name is Woodrow, and he grew up during the Depression in the Great Plains, and he had made his way to New York looking for work. Kind of ran from the law just a little bit. And while he was there was a big hurricane, and he watched this ship tip over, and on the ship were these two giraffes, and one of them was injured. In there. So he contacted the driver of the rig, Riley Jones, who was also an aging zookeeper that was tasked with bringing these two giraffes from New York all the way to California. So they put these giraffes in the back of this truck, and Woodrow actually got the job of driving. He lied. He didn't tell him how old he was. He was only 17 years old. He wasn't a very great driver, but he got the job, and so he and this Riley head across the states. Now you have two other main characters in here. So you have Percival, who wanted to buy only one of the giraffes, and so he was trying to split the giraffes up. And then you also have Red, who she was kind of the photographer, journalist, and she was going to make this big name for himself, and so she followed them. So. You kind of have a hard time, because you've got all of these characters. Now, one thing I didn't realize, did you guys realize, was that giraffes mate for life, and that if you had separated them,
that'd been terrible.
then it would have been, one of them would have died.
Yes.
And especially where the female was injured, and they also discovered she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I do want to make sure that everyone knows the event itself is based on a true story, because it did happen. That great hurricane, the giraffes came to New York. They traveled across the country to California to the San Diego Zoo.
And we have some pictures.
They just showed them. And so that is true. Now the characters in the book are fictional.
Right.
Okay. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. Okay.
All right, so you have Percival, who actually lures Woodrow away, gives him some money, and he takes it. I mean, were you so disappointed when he takes the money, because you wanted him to be the...
He's the devil part of the story.
I know Percival is, but Woodrow takes it, and you're so disappointed. But imagine yourself that you had grown up in the Great Depression. You're completely alone in the world, and somebody offers you this money to do that. And then you also have Red, who wants to make this big name, but then there's that little love interest there between Red and Woodrow, because, I mean, he finds himself falling in love with her. So they are tested all along the way. One of the big tests is when they get to that bridge, and they cannot get the giraffes through the bridge, and that cute little black family in the deep South offers them. I just can't even imagine. First of all, you're in the deep South, and to see these two giraffes, and you have that little family, but they offer them compassion and love and a place to stay. And so that was really touching to me.
The thing that I loved about that part of the book is that there was no one in sight.
Right.
And then once they started, then they all came and they all flocked. So sense of community, they all wanted to help. And I thought that was just really awesome.
So true.
Right.
So true. So the synopsis basically is the hurricane happens.
Hurricane happens. Giraffes arrive.
In New York.
In New York. Have to get them to
San Diego.
San Diego, to the zoo. And Percival's trying to stop them, Red's trying to make a story, and they have all of these different adventures all along the way.
All right, so that's a little brief synopsis of it. We're going to dive into what are the lessons learned from this book during theme number 2. We'll be back right after this. Last week, we visited some of our favorite food trucks on 3 Themes Live and got inspired to make something new in the kitchen and in the sewing room.
I've got you thinking, haven't I?
Yeah, that's right. We made a tortilla warmer and an ice cream batter and a churro-inspired pillow that we've fallen in love with.
If you used
We also held our very first salsa showdown, made ice cream in bags, and delicious churro dips and ice cream toppings.
You are definitely going to want to watch all of these shows.
So tune in live every Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Mountain and 3 p.m. Eastern.
Just use the links below to watch them on Facebook or YouTube. Three Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile,
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
Let's go! All right, welcome back everyone to Three Things Live. We've been talking about the book West with Giraffes by Lynda Rutledge. Here it is, right here. Such an excellent read. We highly recommend it. And today, it's our book club day. It's something that we've been looking forward to for a long time. We just talked a brief synopsis about the book, but I'm here with my friends. And I hope that you're doing some of these things with your friends as well, because there's nothing better than reading a good book together and then just having a great discussion. And we hope you'll do that with us today as well. So we're going to be looking at the comments and sharing some of those things. But I think I'll start out by saying that the giraffes were not just characters, or were characters. They weren't just cargo, right?
Yes, exactly.
They actually became characters in the book, which really surprised me. Did it you, Kyle?
One thing that I just was thinking as you were talking, those two giraffes didn't have anybody else. And so they came to love all the other characters.
That's so true.
Yeah, I just thought about that.
That is so true. And it just, it kind of, like, I thought, how could I fall in love with giraffes?
Yeah.
Right.
When I started reading, I thought, okay, it's a giraffe.
Yeah.
Oh no, I fell in love with them. And they had personalities, didn't they?
It was so funny to me that their names were boy and girl.
Yeah.
I mean, that they didn't really give them a name.
Yeah.
So they didn't really assign a personality that they had to kind of grow into their personalities with them. Boy and girl.
Boy and girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready to buy a stuffed animal that's a giraffe. Actually, that's why
Yes.
I put it on my bed, just because I did love them.
How about the little toy giraffe at the
Oh,
end?
absolutely.
The little toy
Yes.
giraffe, and that just killed me.
I said it. Yes, I totally
Yeah.
got a better perspective on the animal.
So we fall in love with these giraffes. Obviously, the other characters fall in love with them too, or else they wouldn't have been
Yes.
in it for the long haul.
Right.
They were doing everything that they could to protect them.
Yes.
And there were people that wanted to get their hands on them.
Oh yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why would somebody want to get their hands on a giraffe? What were the reasons
Well,
behind
I mean,
it?
Percival wanted to get his hands on giraffes
Right.
because he wanted to sell the giraffe. I mean, he wanted to
wanted to
split
be
it
in the
up,
circus,
and
right?
he
He was
wanted
in the
to. Yes.
circus.
He was in the
He wanted to
circus, yeah.
have one of them for the circus.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was an interesting thing to me, is because you had the circus life and the zoo life.
Yes.
And it was a
totally different.
vast difference between the two.
And it didn't
And that
mix.
Percival,
No.
he was known to be an animal abuser.
Yes, and that was
For the
And you
circus.
think about that time, I mean, just what we know about history and the circuses that happened and how many like rogue elephants there were and different kinds of things. I mean, there were no animal rights laws or
No,
acts. I
that's
mean,
very
they
true.
were
Yes.
they were very
They weren't
very
protected
abusive.
under law. They were
Yeah.
not. So that to me was a very interesting part
Yeah.
of the book.
Yes.
Because I hadn't really thought about that before, but there was definitely a disconnect there. Elisa says in the comments that the giraffes were very good listeners.
Yes, very, very good.
Okay, Elisa, tell us what you mean by that. Well, I'd love to hear your perspective. What do you guys think
Well,
about
they don't
them
talk
being
back.
good
They
listeners?
don't talk back for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
But did they not talk back? Because I mean, in their
Yeah.
own way, they
Yeah.
Yeah,
were
that's true.
obstinate when they needed to be.
That's true.
I was going to say one thing. Didn't you find it interesting, Red, who was abused by a husband and was trying to get away from him, and then protecting these animals that
Yeah.
could have been abused? I thought that was very,
Okay.
I thought that was a
That's a
good
good-
juxtaposition
Yes, okay.
between the
Yes.
two, between abuse, the different types of abuse, and maybe that's why Red fell so much in love with these
Well,
giraffes.
she
But
was
all
the
of them,
protector.
though. But
Yes.
then all of them too.
Yeah.
I mean,
They were all protectors.
They were all abused.
They were
Because
all
even-
had things in their past.
that were abusive.
None of them
that
had
were-
an easy life.
No. That was a good point.
That
yeah.
is a really good point. I like that a lot. So, there's some really great lessons to be learned from this book. One of the things that I absolutely love, we'll start out with this, is the perspective that we have coming from the narrator. All right? How many of you fell in love with him? Did you
Yes.
realize that he was who he was right from the beginning?
Yes.
I
I
did.
think
I think we
know
knew.
that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But did you understand that he would? We're going from the perspective of him being in a nursing home. Okay, so he's 105 years old, right? And he's in a nursing home. He's trying to write this story down, which I think is a brilliant move from the author's point.
Yes.
I thought, wow, this is good. This is good because he's 105 years old. Shall we say senile?
Yes.
And
Yes, because
I mean,
it
he's seen a,
yeah,
he's seen a
sees-
giraffe.
I said he thinks he sees the giraffe, but then what his recollections are, he's able to tell the story. So he's
Exactly.
putting himself back into that
Yes.
time and reliving that whole thing.
Yes, I love that.
So yeah, I really loved that too.
Well, and I think I'm just going to come out and say this, and some of us on this panel, so to speak, I mean, deal with this all. But I think that sometimes when our aging parents or our aging just people we know, that they do live in that past where
Yes.
things had made an impact in them,
Yeah.
and that those are their clearest memories. And so I just think that sometimes we see that a lot, when they go back, and those are very clear, very
happiest
vivid
times.
memories.
Their
Especially
happiest times, yeah.
especially in dementia.
Yes.
Their current
Their
thoughts,
current state, their current reality.
or whatever is hard. But when they talk about things that have passed,
Yes.
they can recall those really quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
very, very true.
Yeah.
And so I think coming from that perspective of, the author could have just said, okay, there was this giraffes, these giraffes that were going across the country. But no, she did it from the perspective of Woody and, right. Yes.
Yes.
Woody and him trying to reflect about his life.
Yes.
So what does that tell us about our stories?
Yeah.
They need to be told,
Yes,
right?
they do. They
They
really
need to be
Written
told.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. Doesn't Stitch Your Story go right along
Right.
with that?
Yes, it does.
I mean, I know I can't say enough about Stitch Your Story,
Yeah.
but as I'm reading the book, I'm going, well, this is exactly what we talk about with getting your stories down, and that your stories are important and they need to be told. And that's how he was feeling as a 105-year-old. He's reflecting back when he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And he's telling the story. But who's he telling the story for? We don't find out until the very end, right?
Right. Right.
This is what's so sweet.
Yes. It is
Yes.
sweet.
I don't even know if I want to share this.
I know.
I'm not
It's
gonna,
like,
I thought I
should
would
we?
say everything, but I think I'm going to leave that.
You're gonna leave
Right.
it
Because if you know, you know. If you
Yes.
know,
If
you know.
you know.
Yep.
And I just think it is so heartwarming who he was writing this story for,
Yeah.
and we don't find that out until the very end.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was.
Oh, you don't?
So just now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm like,
so
yeah,
sweet.
that was tender.
All right, Abby, can you scroll down for just a moment? There was a comment from Elisa.
Okay.
We had asked her earlier, why do you think the Giraffes were good listeners? And I love what she says. She said that Woody and Red spent a lot of time on the platform with the Giraffes. And I had the sense that they told the Giraffes things they couldn't tell anyone else.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
That is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
true.
I
Yes.
actually just got goosebumps, Elisa.
Yes.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yes. Yes.
Do you find yourself doing that sometimes
Ye-
with perhaps an animal even?
I
don't know, or
I think
something?
all of us have those pets or a journal or just different things that we can share our secret innermost thoughts with.
But would you really write that down if you didn't want to share that? You wouldn't write that stuff down, right? For the
I don't
fear,
think I would.
For the fear of
Someone
someone
finding it.
finding out.
Yeah.
But But however, you needed to tell it. So
And
you
there were
say,
two fears with Woody and Red.
Yes.
I mean, Woody was wanted by the law.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of a conflict he had with his father.
Yes.
And Red actually stole a car, and her husband was looking for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were your feelings about Red? Wait,
She was not my favorite character at first.
I
Yeah.
was kind of mad
yeah.
a little
Why is that?
because I'm a romanticist, I guess. And I wanted them to end up together at the end. But, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Did you have a favorite character, Kyle?
Mine was, what's his name?
Percival.
Percival.
No, it was not Percival. He's the main guy.
He's the guy.
Riley.
Riley.
Oh,
Yes.
Riley.
The old
I mean,
man with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was so tough.
He was
And
tough.
forgiving.
But he was
compassionate.
kind.
You know,
Yeah. Taught him a lot of
I
lessons.
agree, Kyle, because I think, you know, he reminds me of those certain people in our lives who act rough and tough
yeah.
on the outside,
Yes.
but in the inside they're just little teddy
Little-
bears,
yes.
right? I think we
Yes.
can all think about someone like that,
Yeah.
and definitely he wasn't
Yeah,
he?
because he had to cover some of his past.
Yes,
He did, but he ended
exactly.
up being a father figure for,
Yes.
you know, that
Woody.
that Woody didn't have that. And so I think that was really tender because of that relationship.
I love the
That-
part where he finally found out about Woody and that his dad had committed suicide, and
Yeah.
he said, "You need to let your past go, and you need to move on.
Yeah.
Clean slate."
Yes.
We all have those kinds of people
Right.
in our life that come into our lives that that really, I don't know, set that example. They really step up and
that father figure.
Love you
if will.
unconditionally.
yes.
Someone says in the comments, let's see. Okay, Janet is talking about so true. She's witnessed many close to her with dementia, and they remembered their past but couldn't remember what they had for breakfast.
Yes.
I focus more on their memories, and yeah, I'm dealing with the same thing in my family. I know you've dealt with your family, and I think. Yeah, it's something that we can, you know, perhaps I was even more endeared to the 105-year-old man because I was thinking of my own dad.
Yeah.
You know, and just, you know, what that would be like as he's
Yeah.
trying to think back of when he was 17. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
But I also really admire Red in the fact that she, you know, back then you didn't just leave.
No.
I mean, you were stuck.
She was pretty brave.
She was brave.
But she was fighting a lot of battles on her
She
own.
could have been stuck in that
in that
awful marriage, right?
Yes,
Right.
But she wanted to make something of
And
herself.
But
escape the abuse.
when push came to shove, and she lost everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
she lost everything.
When she lost
tell
everything,
us
she
what
lost
that
her
means.
photographs.
Yes.
She wrecked the car. She lost her photographs. I mean, it was that horrible,
Yes.
horrible flood.
Yes.
And
It was all to save the giraffes.
Yeah.
she went back to an abusive marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew she was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
She knew she was going
Yeah.
to have a baby, and
Yeah.
she went back to save the giraffes.
Yeah.
That was probably a very poignant moment for you, right,
Yes.
Allison?
It really was. I mean, you know, because I think she loved the giraffes, but I think she also loved Woody, and I think that she understood that she couldn't put him in that position.
Yeah.
So she made kind of an ultimate sacrifice, which eventually, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
she did pass away, and
Yeah.
and it was the ultimate sacrifice
It
for
was.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know anything about the husband either.
No.
Not a whole lot.
So I said,
Yeah.
you know, we're just kind of guessing on
Yeah.
on really what kind of relationship
Yeah.
that
Yes.
they had. But
Erin is saying in the comments that she says, I really liked how the giraffes remembered Woody when he came back. It reminded me of how my service dogs that I have trained and how they remembered me when I came back.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Erin,
sweet.
I love that.
that's really sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, they do remember.
Right.
Aren't animals amazing?
They really
are.
are amazing.
You know,
They
they
are.
really are. And I think you don't even have to love animals. You don't have to love giraffes in order to love the story.
Yeah.
Because the story is all encompassing, I
Yeah.
think. And it
It could be
teaches so many
anybody.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
about protection and going through difficult times and overcoming
Compassion.
those and
Yeah.
all of that, right?
History. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the things they went through with the Depression, the things they went through with racism, the things they went through, even with even as simple as transportation. I mean, you know, as getting from point A to point B. I mean, you know, it's just amazing.
Know, speaking of the racism, this was a moment in the book that I really reflected on and then thought, okay, how many of us we do judge a book, you know, by its cover. We automatically have different ideas in our minds about whoever it might be when we see them. That was the case when they came across that family, right? And trying to cross the bridge.
Yes.
And at first I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You know, what's going to happen here? And I was so happy, like it brought tears to my eyes and a smile when I saw that this family came together and helped him, and then they became friends.
Yes.
So it just was a very poignant part of the story for me. What about for you guys?
Yeah, it didn't matter who was black and who was white. They were people in trouble, and there was animals that they all could love.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea says in the comments that she loved West with Giraffes. Is so interesting regarding the historical details. Yes, I would agree with that, Andrea, for sure. Yeah, just, I don't know. There's just a lot of things in there to think about. Now, what is perhaps another part of the story that really was poignant to you? I know when I was talking to Allison earlier, you talked about meeting the family, you know, across who helped across the bridge. For me, it was when he had to go into the Army, and he came back, and
Everything was
gone.
different.
That killed me.
Yeah.
I just thought, wow, you know, he tried so hard. He tried doing the right thing. He tried all these things, and there was nothing left for him when he came
7
back.
years is really not that long a time, and I'm sure that when he went in, you know, because he had to make that choice to serve prison or the Army. I mean, you know, he had to pay for his actions, and I'm sure he's thinking, okay, you know what, I'll do 7 years and I'll come back and I'll have a chance, and there's not.
Exactly.
Everything had changed.
Kyle, did you have a time in the book that really stood out to you?
I just kept thinking as you're talking that when she got into the enclosure with the animals, and she was perfectly safe.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
There was a big
Because
trust factor, right?
Because
Big
giraffes
trust.
can be mean.
Yeah, and that's what they kept
They
saying
can
through the whole
kick and
thing.
stomp
Yeah.
and-
I just thought, oh wow, they were protecting her also.
So you think that animals can read us?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so
Absolutely.
too, definitely.
Yes.
What about for you, Jackie?
I don't know. I just keep coming back to the time during the flood when he goes back to his home. I can't imagine the feelings. You know, I was really drawn to that.
Yeah.
And just thinking, I wonder what was going through his mind, you know,
Yeah.
and trying to come to grips with what had happened with his family. I wonder if that was just a real moment for him, you know, a peace, you know, that he came to peace with what had happened.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, that really stuck.
I think perhaps it
Hit.
teaches us all of what really matters
Yes.
in life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's forgiveness. It's because
Yes.
there was a lot of forgiveness
Yes.
throughout this
For
book.
a lot
wasn't
Yes,
there?
there
different
was.
things.
There really was.
So many different things. So to me, that was a theme that definitely resonated in the book. And of course, love and compassion. I
Yes.
think so as well. I'm going to read you guys a couple of my favorite quotes, and I want to get your thoughts about them. All right? You ready for this? It's a funny thing, memory. It sneaks up on you when you least expect it, doesn't it? The old stories want to be told. Allison, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I am a big story person,
Yeah.
and I think that there's a lot of lessons that we can learn by stories, and I think that that history repeats itself, and so I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
With that quote. That,
Yeah.
that the stories do want to be told
Yeah.
and reflected on and learned from, and that we lose a piece of ourselves if we lose our story.
Yeah. Oh, perfectly said.
Yes.
Well said. How about this one? It's a terrible thing, isn't it? How a little hope can be the thing that keeps you going and also the thing that breaks you. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, he had so much hope, didn't he?
Yes.
He had so much hope.
He
He wanted
did.
to get to California.
His life was going to
California.
change when he got
kept
to
saying.
California.
Yeah.
He banked everything on, I mean, that was what kept him going.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of things like that in our, you know, in your own, in your own life,
Yep.
it's what keeps you going. It's what keeps you, what the drive, maybe it's the drive. And yeah, so
And trying to enjoy the ride as you're going.
well,
They had
yeah.
a lot of things that were
Oh,
going
they
on.
did. No, it was not a bed of roses at
No, it
all.
was not.
I mean, they had thing after thing, you know, tragedy after tragedy.
It kind of shows that two things can coexist at the same time.
Yes.
You can have all the hope, and then you can have all the heartbreak.
Yes.
And both can live in the same space
Yeah.
at
Right.
the same time.
Because it
right?
helps you. It helps you go through and navigate through those times that you feel hopeless.
Yes. Yes.
So if you
yes.
have that hope, then that helps you carry on, and it gives you the strength that you need.
And
Yeah.
those animals made it. I was shocked that
They
they
did.
made
They
it.
did in one piece, right?
Shocked.
That's true.
How about this one? Sometimes it takes a long time to figure out who you are, and sometimes it takes a giraffe.
Perfect way to
True.
end it, you know, perfect way.
Yeah.
I don't think we even need to expound
I
on that
know.
because sometimes it takes a giraffe.
Yes,
Yeah, it
sometimes
does.
it takes a giraffe, and it definitely took two giraffes for us to really, you know, embrace this heartwarming story. And again, if you're just joining us and wondering what are these guys talking about, it's West with Giraffes by Lynda Rutledge. It was our quarterly book club for Three Things Live. It's something that we do once a quarter. It's so much fun for us to do this because, you know, we know so many of you love to read a good novel, and as we do, and we love to be inspired by good novels as well. And sometimes that inspiration takes us beyond just, you know, beyond just thinking about the words and how it helps us to reflect on our lives, but as sewers and creators, it also inspires us to do the projects that we make as well. And
Yes.
so tomorrow
Yay. It's gonna
is
be
the
great.
launch of something that we have all, and when I say all have worked so hard towards for the last several months. We do not want you guys to miss it.
You don't want to miss it.
You definitely don't want to miss it. And we'll give you just a little sneak peek here in just a moment, but we're also going to invite Sherry on as she shares with us kind of an interesting story that also has to do with giraffes. I think you're going to find this quite intriguing. So again, if you haven't read it yet, we highly recommend it.
Or read it again.
Or
I'm
read
gonna
it
read it
again.
again.
Yes. And we hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and let's keep the discussion going.
Yes.
You know, definitely share with us your thoughts, your feelings, some of the takeaways that you had, because we'd love to hear. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on this book that you want to share?
I think we've covered it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that I can say anything more than has been said.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those books that when I picked it up, I thought it would be a fun, easy read, and it was so thought-provoking.
It was
stayed
very
with me.
much so.
Oh,
And
I would, as you're reading it, if you have not read it,
Yeah.
or if you're going to read it again,
Yeah.
I would definitely take a highlighter
oh yes,
and write in there your feelings
Good idea.
and
Oh, that's a good
yeah,
idea.
that kind of stuff. You know,
How
what
it made
what
you
really
feel.
And then make sure you read till the end so you
Yes.
can find out who this was for.
Yes, yes.
Because that shocked me.
Yeah,
I don't know about
I
you
had
guys,
no
but
idea.
I was like, I had no idea until
Yeah,
the very end.
no.
So I'm glad we didn't give that little part away.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool.
All right, everyone. Marilyn says, great discussion and challenging things to consider. I love that. Thank you, Terry. Great takeaways, and she loved our insights. Yeah, we really do want to hear your insights as well.
Right.
And let us know in the comments, and be sure and share this with maybe others that you know have read the book or maybe might be interested in reading the book. Because I promise, we gave away some things, but we
Yes.
didn't give
Get
away
up.
everything.
No.
So definitely watch it. And Deb says she's going to go to the end first. There we go. All right, everyone, we'll be back here in just a moment for theme number 3. Stick around. First off, you're going to take the measurement of your quilt and you add up all 4 sides together. Pretend that the quilt is 60 inches by 72. So if I were to add up all 4 sides, we're gonna do 60 plus 60 plus 72 plus 72. 264 inches? All right, so 264 inches. Now, I'm going to add the number 10 to it. That's how many inches we need to have to get around the quilt. So we're gonna take the total number of inches and divide it by 40. What number does that give us?
6.85.
6.85. So if we round it up, we've got 7 strips. 7 strips, folks.
Three Things Live is where we always have something to make you smile,
Something to learn.
and something to discover.
Let's go.
Graph paper is kind of a must, so guess which letter I chose?
A for Allison.
No, K for Kris.
Oh, there we go.
I just created a K by deciding how big I wanted my quilt block to be, and then how many squares I wanted to represent. So what I did, Kris, on your K, is I decided to do the 1 inches because I wanted it really scrappy.
Okay.
So I took your K here,
Okay.
and I just figured all of these, and I just started at my top. I did 1 row at a time,
yeah.
so that I wasn't confused, and then I crossed it off. So let's look at this here. So here's my first one,
This could be kind of fun.
and here's your first block,
Yes.
right there. Here's my second one, 1 inch square. Here's my second block. So I just stripped this right together, Kris, and if I added your next bottom
Look
to
at
your
that.
K, there,
Look
then
at that.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. We just had such a great discussion. I loved it. I hope you loved it too, about the book West with Giraffes. So many, insightful things to be learned from, and I'm just, it's so much fun. And we have a special project that we are debuting tomorrow on Three Things Live. So you do not want to miss it.
No.
And stay with us till the very end, because in just a few moments we're going to give you a little sneak peek. But in the meantime, we have Miss Sherry back with us.
Hey,
Sherry.
I
What
love
happened to Allison?
giraffes. I love giraffes, so
Really?
I kicked her off.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, just pick me, pick me.
Yeah.
Great
And-
discussion.
right?
It was.
Yeah.
It
was.
really was a good discussion.
Yeah, I loved it. I could keep talking about it too.
Yeah.
There were so many poignant parts of the story that just meant a lot to me. So, and Sherry, maybe I'll just give a little heads up to everyone that tomorrow, you also don't want to miss tomorrow's Three Things Live, not just because of what we're doing as the project, but just wait
Guys,
for
I love giraffes.
Let's wait for it.
Sherry the giraffe. Just saying, okay? Just be ready.
You don't
be
have
ready.
You don't can't say. You don't need to say anymore.
It's not Jerry the giraffe. It's
Sherry
Sherry the giraffe.
Yeah.
But we invited Sherry to come on today for theme number 3 because there was a discovery that you made, and it had everything to do with giraffes. And I thought I've never heard of this.
Well, and it was one of those things where I just was kind of fascinated by it. It just kind of came into my feed, and I was like, wait, what? And then the whole giraffe book. So it all was, one of those moment.
Yes.
But there was a giraffe born in a private zoo. It's the Bright Zoo in East Tennessee that didn't have spots.
Ooh.
I've never seen
Can they
that.
call it a giraffe? It doesn't.
I know. I'm like, really?
A long-necked animal.
Like it is. We got a new name. So it was born. She's going to turn 2
Okay,
here
we're looking at
in
it
the end
right
of July.
now.
Isn't she so cute?
Oh, she's
Beautiful.
adorable.
I love
And
the color.
so they had a contest to name her, and like I said, this is a private zoo, and it's so cute because they like literally were hand counting the how many people were voting for the name, and they had thousands, like 50,000, something like that, and they were hand counting all of these, and the little giraffe's name is Kipiki. Kipiki.
Oh, how cute.
Isn't that
adorable
cute?
name.
And
That is darling.
is Swahili for unique.
Oh,
Isn't that
that's
cute?
perfect?
And all of the name choices were really cute, but they said that this one won because most people said it was easier for kids to say.
Yes,
Kipiki.
Kipiki.
Kipiki, yeah. So
Kipiki.
cute. So
Oh my
Kipiki
goodness.
is about to turn 2, and I really want to go see her.
I know. I do too.
Field trip.
Who of our girlfriends and guy friends out there lives in East Tennessee?
Oh,
Oh my, you gotta, if anyone's out there watching, go take some pictures for us.
Well,
Yes.
so like if you like search for Kipiki, there's some people that are doing like kind of pilgrimages to go see Kipiki because she is so
okay.
unique.
Yeah.
There was one giraffe that didn't have spots in 1972 that was in Tokyo.
Okay.
And there is also one that you can find on a reserve in Namibab, whatever. I like giraffes. I can't speak Swahili.
She won't ever get spots?
No, she will never get spots. So,
Doesn't that make you wonder how that happens?
Yes, I was just going to ask.
so it's just
About
kind of
that.
like, I mean,
Do they
it's
know
just
who the father is? Sorry.
It was a horse.
100% quilter. So I mean, well, if you look, like you have albino animals, and so
Right.
it's
Yeah.
something similar to that, where
Sure.
we're probably used to
Okay.
hering that more. But this
Yeah.
is that unique.
It's just
that,
an anomaly.
yeah, just a kind of an anomaly. But there are, I mean, giraffes are pretty amazing. There are some
Yeah.
things.
Oh.
So this is a fact that I read, and then I've been thinking about it a while.
Okay.
Okay, giraffes walk with their legs on one side swinging and then their other side swinging. So think about that.
Can you please show us
I would like to see that. Sherry. It's Sherry the
I
giraffe.
see the video where they try and get them to run with
Yeah.
the
You better
I'm like,
practice
but is
that.
it okay? So, and another thing, what are the things on the top of their heads called? Do you guys know?
Antennas.
nodules.
I thought they were horns, but I don't know.
No,
What
they are not.
called?
They are called ossicones.
Feelers.
Oh, feelers. Ossicones.
Ossicones. And both the
Okay.
male and the female have them.
What are they for?
Yes.
So they will fight with them, but that's one reason. But they also will fight with their neck. And their
Oh,
necks-
yeah. They
so
can whip that
they
neck.
will. Yeah, the males will fight, and so and their necks can grow to be 8 feet long and weigh 500 pounds.
Just the neck.
Just the neck.
Wow.
That just makes my neck hurt right now.
I'm like going. I'm
Stretching mine.
Wow. Okay.
So another fact is they can run up to 35 miles an hour.
Whoa.
That's
Wow,
pretty fast.
that is
like
That is
fast.
fast. Yeah, I said.
that
And
is.
The other thing is they sleep between 1 and 20-minute segments, so they don't go like 8 hours of sleep.
Oh. Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
And they do lay down.
They do lay down.
I did.
So
I said I learned that. Yeah,
in the
from
book.
the book. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I thought they.
That they did
Slept
standing
standing.
up. Yeah.
And they probably do a
They
little
probably
bit.
could, too.
Yeah.
It's funny how small their legs are. How
Yeah.
That,
How
yeah,
little
especially
they are.
Support a
500.
500-pound neck.
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the spots are like fingerprints, so like
Okay.
no two giraffes are the same. So it's not like you can tell who the dad is by, oh, well, they got those round spots.
Okay.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that is.
So
Wow. Look at all the discoveries.
when are we
you
going
just
to see
shared with
Kipiki?
us. Yeah, let's go.
I know.
Let's head to
Kipiki.
Kipiki.
I love the Kipiki. Did
you
we?
know, Marilyn said that she's going to Chattanooga next month.
that
is
close?
it close? I don't know.
it just
It just
it's
says East Tennessee.
Tennessee.
East.
Bright's Zoo is where
Right,
it
Sue?
is.
Okay.
Bright's Zoo.
Okay, Marilyn, you got to look that up. and
Yeah.
see if it's anywhere close.
I said, even if it's a 2-hour drive, that would
Yeah.
be worth to go see
I
it,
know.
right?
Well,
It
it's
would.
it's a one in a
Kippy.
million.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, really.
You don't see that.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay, wow. Well, thank you so much, Sherry,
You're
for
welcome.
That's awesome.
sharing with us. You know, I just love these little tidbits of information that just makes us go,
Yeah.
Go look at a giraffe.
Yeah.
Pardon me, like when I read the book, I connected with the giraffes. I mean, they're as much
Yeah.
of a character as
Yes.
anyone in the
Yes.
book. So,
Yes.
like, it's really kind of cool to find out
You
a little
didn't
bit
think
more
you
about
would,
it.
but
No, yeah,
you do.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I want my stuffed animal. I am gonna buy a stuffed animal. I really am.
Well, we may not give you a stuffed giraffe, but we do have something
Yes.
super cool
Oh,
that you
this
can
is exciting.
do here really soon. Let's go ahead
You
and
guys
take
are
a
killing
little
me.
sneak peek for
Yes.
tomorrow's show. To tomorrow's
Oh,
show.
my goodness.
Yes.
And tomorrow you're also going to meet several team members who played very big roles in the coming of these giraffes.
Yes.
And some I don't think you've even met before, so I'm
Will be
excited
so
about that. But it has
great.
taken a village
Yes.
to pull this off.
Yes.
And it's something we're really looking forward to showing you tomorrow. So we hope you'll join us for that. All right, before we
Will it
end
be available
today,
tomorrow?
you just wait and see.
Yeah, it's
Come
just a
on,
surprise,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Patience.
Okay.
Get your patience pants on.
Okay, let me go change.
Be like a giraffe.
All right. Before we leave, we want to actually let you know. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy.
Oh, I think I might want to cry, but
Okay, don't cry.
no, I'm not
No,
going to cry.
don't
But
start.
I'm actually excited about this because we are taking
good
a little
idea.
summer break here in a couple weeks from Three Themes Live. So we're taking
Sherry.
a summer break. Sherry's not dancing or anything. Our last show before the break will be on June 25th. So we'll be here all this week and next week, but June 25th will be the last day. We'll be back with some fresh episodes on September 15th. There's a lot of reasons why we're doing this, isn't there, guys? And
Yes.
they're all very good reasons.
Yes.
Yes.
And
I think it's
something
great.
that you all can look forward to in the coming months. So Three Themes Live is not going away. In fact, far from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not going away.
Oh, no.
No, we're
but
not.
we've got some really cool things on the horizon. But we know summers are really busy for a lot of people, and so this is going to give you all a chance to get caught up on
There you
previous
go.
episodes that you
Yay.
may have missed
Yay.
earlier,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So and maybe get caught up on some of the projects that you've been wanting to do,
do.
that you haven't had a chance to do.
Yeah.
So just know that June
Cup of cheer.
25th is our last day for the summer.
Really? You're going there?
So we've got July and August. We'll be taking off. September, the beginning of September, I'm going to be in Ireland with a group of quilters.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So we will be starting back up for Themes September 15th, and it will stay at the
great.
1 o'clock
Yeah.
p.m. Utah time. Yes, Maryland. So
Nice.
on that.
Nice.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yay.
me too. Me too. I think it's going to be great. And like
You
I
get
said,
to take a breath.
lots of things are in the works. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
definitely
we're not slowing down.
No.
It just gives her a chance to get more done.
That's true.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us. We are so grateful each time that you choose to spend some time with us. It means a lot. I'll just say that. It really means a lot. And we hope that we're bringing, inspiration and positivity and all those things to you as well. We also want to thank all of you for your birthday wishes from this past weekend in celebrating 14 years here at My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. All of your kind words and messages have meant more than you'll ever know. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, everyone. I think we are ready to wrap things up. Thanks again. Go read West with Giraffes or reread. It's definitely a good one. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep doing all the things you love, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.